Good morning, Friday the 16th of May. So another weekly update for you, another gorgeous morning out here, still praying for some rain. Course set up this morning, we've cut greens, rolled greens, cut tees and aprons. We've had a hand water hose out as well to hit the moisture. Make sure there's plenty of moisture in the greens, green surrounds and tees to get through the weekend. Also rake the bunkers as we've gone round this morning, so they've had a good full flat rake to smooth them over. We've applied 2 sprays this week, 1 to greens and approaches. That's the wetting agent and seaweed product, which we apply every 2 weeks. So that wetting agent really helps retain moisture in the profile. We do notice a real difference to when we're hand watering. If we were to go out and hand water in 2.5-3 weeks time, and there's not enough moisture in the profile, all of the water just runs off. So the wetting agent really helps capture moisture. It makes it much more efficient and easier to hand water as well, because when it's hydrophobic, you just have to apply a little bit of water, because otherwise it puddles up too quickly and runs off, and then you have to sort of go and do 2 or 3 different areas and keep coming back to them. So you're doing a little bit all the time. Whereas when you've got those wetting agents, you can just give them a good soak, and you can just see the plant in the profile just absorb all that moisture and suck it in. So it makes it a lot more efficient, and it's much more beneficial for the greens in the profile to help retain that moisture in there. Second application on the Tuesday was to tees, so tees and green surround. So that had wetting agent and plant growth regulator in as well, just to make sure with greens we separate those sprays. So we put the wetting agent and the plant growth regulator in different applications, because we like to get that wetting agent application on and watered in immediately behind, whereas we sort of don't have the man hours, labour hours to separate it with tees and the green surround application. So we put that all in one. Let the plant growth regulator has to be absorbed by the plant, so we leave that for 24 hours to really be absorbed well by the plant, so that works well once it's gone into the plant. And then we put water out behind, because the wetting agent is a soil-based product, so it needs to go into the profile. So that does work quite well. As I said, just to repeat, it's the plant growth regulator is left on the leaf to be absorbed well, and then we'll apply water later on in the evening, 12 or 24 hours later, to make sure that wetting agent's going into the soil and can be working and active in there. We've also applied a granular fertiliser to greens this week, so that happened on Monday afternoon and then was watered in heavily on Monday night. So every 6 weeks we apply a light granular feed. That just really helps with colour up, and a slow release fertiliser which will work over the next 6 to 8 weeks. To really make sure the greens are kept healthy. I've found that I've talked quite a lot about liquid feeds and granulars, and I just find that granulars work really well for our site and our greens. And I don't put them on. I just put them on at half rates. A lot of they're sold and said to put on at sort of 35-40 grams a square metre, but I find that you get such a large flush of growth, and you struggle with performance thereafter. Because it's growing so quickly. So the greens may well perform well for an hour or 2 after you've cut and rolled in the morning, but as they are growing really quickly from that granular fertiliser, the amount of nitrogen that's available from the granular fertiliser, that they then end up being very long quite quickly in the day, because they're growing so much. So as I said, just half rates, and then every 6 to 8 weeks, and I feel that is much more controlled. It gives the plant plenty of health, and they don't get too carried away with growth. So I feel that's a program that works really well. So to complete Strimming season, after we've knocked all the bunker tops down over the last few weeks, we've now gone on to strimming in front of some of the tee banks. We've grown many of the tee banks up for that rustic definition of what I talked about last time, similar to to having the wispiness on the bunkers. It just gives that rustic definition of what a downland golf course is or should be, and to create those island tees. Now, aware that some of the grass can grow up quite long and thick right in front of the tees, and if the tee markers are quite close to the front of the tees, then that can affect the ball being hit off those tees. So and I'm really pleased we've got in and done it early, because quite often it's something that just gets missed, and then we don't do it until it's happened to a couple of people and it gets reported. So we're on it early this year, which is great. So all those areas, trim those right down. On any tees that are necessary, particularly 14 and 15. They are notoriously bad ones. So we've got in and got all those trimmed down, so they should stay nice and thin and wispy for the remainder of the year, and we can just keep addressing those as we do the fly mow and strim run. So as strimming season finishes, spraying season starts. So there's a lot of weeds and things come up in areas, and grass grows where you don't want it to. So we've started off by getting out and spraying all the steps of any grass that's coming through those, and they'll get some attention where we trim those down. So as that plant's now dead, it will be trimmed out, so it's gone out of sight and you don't see it. And then we've gone on to spray the weeds on the tee banks, as they're the most prominent ones. This is side of 4, which is probably the worst one I've taken a photo of. And we've gone in and hit all these weeds, so these will go back, and we'll just have that definition, rustic definition of the wispy grasses as the look we go for, and keeps the place looking tidy. So we've got round and done a morning spray of all the tee banks where they're showing up and rearing their ugly head first, and then we'll continue spraying weeds over the next week or two, and then get on to spraying around those tree bases as well, as we do each year. The raking in the rough is also now being completed. I'm absolutely delighted with this product. It was a new purchase this year of the rough rake, and it's really thin the rough out nicely, and it's exactly does what we want it to. You've still got those wispy stalks in there, but it just sort of rips the guts out the bottom of the plant and keeps those areas nice and thin and wispy. It's done a brilliant job. So there are a number of piles all around the golf course. We've done our best to make sure they're out of the way as much as we can, really keep them out of the way, so they're out of sight and out of play. And then we'll start picking those up next week. We've performed an irrigation audit of the tees, so that entails putting the heads up and just observing everything that happens in terms of which ones are broken, which ones need new nozzles, all that sort of thing, just to make sure the water system is watering effectively. We've got quite a lot of old heads out on some of the tees, which we've been slowly replacing over the years, and then we've just written all that down, so we know all the jobs we need to go back to, and can prioritise the tees which need sorting the most, and it creates a good list of work to go through, and make sure the irrigation system is working well and efficiently. We also have a job advert out for a potential new role of a first assistant greenkeeper. Just from concluding from meetings, the club decided to go ahead and pursue the idea of taking on a third in charge, and bring someone into the team who has some good experience within the golf course industry already, and with that comes sort of their spraying certificates and college qualifications within the greenkeeping field, and they would act and assist Mark and myself in running the golf course, so that when Mark or myself is off, that there's sort of still two people sort of leading the team, rather than just being left to a sole responsibility, which can be a bit too much for one person to burden at times. So that it very much needs to be the right person to fulfill this role. So we've got the job advert out there, and we will see and look forward to the applicants that come in. Looking ahead to next week, we've got a spray to go out on greens, which is the plant growth regulator application. Carrying on hand watering greens, tees, green surrounds, to back up the automated irrigation system and keep those areas well moist. Outside of the maintenance, lots of odd jobs, catching up on a few things we've been meaning to do for a while. So some plugging on some of the greens, so perhaps left of one and left of where we did the drainage works, that sort of haven't quite come back, so we may well plug some of that out to get some healthier turf in there. Left of three is crusted up and dried up a little bit as well, so a little bit of plugging to do there. Some of the old hydraulic leaks, such as the SGA and the ninth apron, get some more seed, a little bit of fertiliser and some top dressing on those. Some trimming to do. I've seen the 15th bush is overgrowing, it's starting to overgrow the pathway, to get that trimmed back and tidied up. Little bits and pieces of strimming of tidying up, so the poster rope all up 15 as well. While we're there, that can get tidied up, and also make a start on all this, all the irrigation audit as well. So yeah, lots of bits and pieces, odd jobs and divoting tees. It's been a while since we've got across the whole golf course and divoted those. So lots of odd jobs and tidying up and things that have been on the to-do list for a wee while. So a nice catch-up week next week, and a full complement of crew of staff to try and get those jobs knocked out. So that's all for this week, and we look forward to catching up with you again next week.